My skin is black.
What you looking
My
at?
skin
Yeah,
is black.
I feel so good to be black right now.
is black.
What you look-
Welcome to episode 164 of the Black in Fashion Podcast. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. I am Lanice and I am your host today. Of course, guys, we are wanting you to stay in tune with us, so please make sure you subscribe, but also make sure you can join our Black Designer Fashion Directory. We'd love for you to sit in your Black in Fashion notes, like what does it mean to be Black in Fashion to you, and our new series, The Crazy Client Chronicles, so that we can give feedback on different situations to help us grow as Black business owners. Today, I am joined with Lydia. Lydia is a fashion designer, and we're going to get to know Lydia in a little bit. Lydia, say hi. Thanks for joining us.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So, Lydia, I always like to do this little icebreaker, just to, like shaking us up and kind of get us in the flow. So it's called This or That. So you just tell me what thing you prefer over the other thing. Okay?
Okay.
All right, let's go for it. Boot cut or skinny?
I would say skinny.
Okay. Motorcycle or varsity jacket?
I would say varsity jacket.
Studs or hoops?
Hoops.
Booties or over the knee boots?
Over the knee boots.
Berets or brims?
I would say braids.
And last but not least, side boob or under boob?
Side.
Side. Normally that one tricks people. They're like, ooh, let me see. Which one? Hilarious. Okay, so Lydia, I like to get a little bit about you. So can you just start off by telling us where you're from, where you grew up, a little bit about your background, and when that fashion bug bit you?
Okay. I was born and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I loved fashion from a young age. My grandmother taught me how to sew, so it was passed down to me in a sense. She sewed a lot of me and my sister's first outfits that we wore, and she taught me how to sew, and that just kept the fuel going of wanting to be a fashion designer when I grew up. I was homeschooled by my mom, and that also allowed me to really hone in on my fashion career and my craft because I was always sewing. And she put me in art school as well as like after school programs that focused on fashion design and artistry in the Philadelphia area. So that was really amazing to be able to really hone in and learn my craft at a very young age. And from there, after high school, I went on to college and majored in fashion design, merchandising, and costume design at Albright College. After graduation, I worked at a fabric store for a little bit, then did a couple couple fashion jobs before going into retail. Then I went and got a master's degree in fashion business. And from there, I worked on my business and been working on my business ever since. So, I also studied abroad while I was in undergraduate. So that gave me experience to see fashion in the international level. I was in London and I got to visit Europe. So that was really cool, interesting. I also interned for like 2 fashion companies over there. So that definitely helped, me explore options in a different country, but in the career field that I chose.
Gotcha. I love that. Like you sound like very, very well rounded, and you went for design, but you also went for merchandising. What school did you get your master's at?
I got it at LIM College. It's based in New York City.
Oh, that's where I went. That's where I got my master's.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I was like, which one? Because not that many schools have like the masters in like fashion, or like fashion management and merchandising and stuff. So that's the one like I did. Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah.
So, tell me a little bit about your brand, and what is the aesthetic? And if you could say 3 adjectives that describe your brand, what would you say that they were?
I would say it is I would say my brand is personal, and I would say my brand is very bold.
Bold. Okay.
That
And
would be the adjective.
and what category of clothing are you in? Are you evening
I'm
wear,
in
dress? Okay.
women's like ready to wear / evening wear.
Women's.
I do a lot of custom looks for like birthdays, proms, graduations.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm in something like a baby shower, so ready to wear / like evening wear, I would say.
Love that. So I gotta ask you, tell me the hardest part or the most challenging part about prom season.
I would say for me, it's getting consistent like clients. A lot of times I get inquiries, but it's like people, it's so many options sometimes that people are just like overwhelmed, I would say, and then they also don't understand the custom dress order process, so they
Mm-hmm.
much rather just buy it like in store. So that's the challenge I'm facing currently is, you know, get after the inquiry, just getting the customer to um, be sure that they want to do the custom order process and getting them to understand how the custom order process works.
Gotcha. Makes sense. So, is it hard for you to like educate customers on that? Like when you're going, like going into that? Because I know that from my experience, like, and I used to do like proms and like weddings and events, like
Hmm.
really, really back in the day. And I feel like I just made so many errors and so many mistakes with like not having like agreements in place and not having like
Hmm.
contracts, but then
Hmm.
also not making sure that I first of all charge my worth and what it
Hmm.
takes and the time that's put into it, but
Yes.
also being able to not compromise with people when it comes to like time and money and stuff like that, and like
Yes.
not trying to like just do whatever just to get your name out there or just for like a quick buck.
Hmm.
Have you experienced like issues with that like in your journey?
Yes, yes, I have because, like you said, it's a lot of little things that you run over the course of doing it. So every client, I implement something different that I learned from the last client to better my business and make the process smooth. It's for me, it's easy to explain it to somebody how it works. Um, but like you said, it's a lot of like contracts and updating the contracts and asking the customer what you want out of it, to help your business as well. And like you said, charging your worth, that's another thing because it's a lot of price breakdown. So it's like I'm getting the material, I'm cutting it out. I'm doing several fittings to ensure that it fits you properly. And then the appliques, everything. And then it really just adds up. So people look at the dress price and they're like, oh my God, like $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
$1,000 is not going in my pocket. I can
Right.
assure you. It is for the fittings, the material, the appliques, and it's like these dresses nowadays are like extra. So a little gold applique could be like $100 or more, and
Right.
people don't realize that, so they're looking at the price like, oh my gosh, I've definitely had parents like DM me like, oh, like our budget is like 500. I'm like, yeah, well,
Not over
custom
here.
order
Yep. Well, good luck.
will not
Good
be
luck for
for
your
you.
500, but you're not getting nothing over here for 500. Are you crazy?
Yes,
Mm-mm.
and then if not the parent, then it'll be the child who doesn't have no money. So they they would DM me and be like, "Oh, I want this dress," and I would tell them the starting price, and they're like, "Okay, yeah." Don't think
Girl,
it's
you gotta
gonna
make
work.
people pay a
So
consultation fee so you can start wasting your damn time. And people
I do,
like
I do
you do
do the
okay. I'm like,
consultation
whew,
fee, but
honey.
a lot of times people, what I've experienced, a lot of times people are the consultation fee for me. I don't know. You could say if I'm doing this wrong, but this is how I do it. So
Mm,
I would do a consultation fee if you have no idea what you want the dress to look like. Like you have an event and you don't know what it would look like. That's why I do the consultation fee. Most people would DM me with a picture, and so then I would just tell them
no,
the price.
no, girl,
Okay,
you
no,
not.
okay.
No, that's your time. Even trying to sit there and
Okay.
figure out how much it's gonna cost. No, and then it's like you gotta go back and forth,
Okay.
going back and forth with like several questions. Like, well, you want this? It's
Yeah.
like that's your time. No, it doesn't matter
Okay.
what they want. You better, girl.
Thank you. I
You
think
better.
I appreciate the advice. I definitely will
You
be
do, and if you want to use
updating
a
it.
portion of it, like to go towards their services, that's fine. But then
Uh-huh.
you don't have to. Like it could be just a little
Mhm.
non-refundable fee for your time. Like
Okay.
yeah, but
Okay.
no, you gotta do that for everybody. It sets a standard. It sets a level of like
Okay.
integrity and quality and
Mhm.
confidence in your work.
Mhm. Okay.
I promise you.
Duly
And the
noted.
so and just know sometimes you lose customers because you change your policies or you start charging for things,
Yeah.
but then you gain the customer and the clientele that you want that don't mind from it. And I can
Yeah.
actually say I'm living proof. When I first started my business, my consultations
Mhm.
was $30. This
Mhm.
was in 2019. Now my consultations are
Mhm.
$350 and people still pay for them.
Oh, well, I know that's right.
You hear
Okay.
me? So and
Yeah.
I attract a whole different clientele from that
Mhm.
$30 consultation to that $350 consultation.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So work your way up, Google.
Yeah.
Work your way up. So I have another segment. It's called It's a Success or It's a
Okay.
Disaster. Can you tell us
Mhm.
like a little time, like a little story about something that went like really, really bad, but you learned something from the experience that it helped you just like grow and be, a better entrepreneur and designer in your craft?
I would say like one of my very first customers. She was at the fabric store I worked in, and she wanted a skirt, like a simple African printed skirt. So I was like, okay, I can do that. It was like years ago, so I don't forget how much I charged her, but she paid her deposit, got the fabric, sewed it, and I think she did like one fitting, and then I fixed it, and then it was time for her to pick it up, and I was just like, "Hey, you go pick up your skirt." It was like no answer, and then I called her. I was like, "Hey, well, if you don't pick up your skirt, I'm gonna have to charge a fee for holding it. Like, then you like deposit at the end is gonna be bigger because I'm higher because I'm holding it." And she went off. She was went off, cussed me out in text messages, and never ever picked up her skirt. I ended up giving it to my mom. But that just was just like, oh my gosh. Like mind you, this is like one of my first customers that
Mm.
I did for custom orders. So
So she was
that
mad
was
that you had a holding fee.
yes. Mhm.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
See, and so
Mhm.
just another way to go about that is you charge 50% up front. You charge
Mhm.
25% at the fitting, and then the final 25% is yours. If somebody spends 50% on a purchase, they're not inclined to necessarily go forward with it. It's like, well, I'm just going to have to take that as a loss instead of spending the double. But if they had already
Oh
spent
well.
75% of their purchase and all they was paying was the last 25% of pickup, I bet you they would
Mhm.
get there. So
Okay.
50 up front, 25 at the fitting, and then 25. So every time you do spend time with them, you should be getting paid.
Gotcha.
Okay? So yeah. But girl, you got this. I can promise you do. All right. I'm just giving you those tips. I'm like, girl, make sure you do that. So,
Okay.
my last segment before we wrap up is it's a muse. If you have a quote or a mantra, a prayer, anything that just keeps you going and keep you like, pressing for it. It could be a book, also. It could be a poem, anything like that.
I would say the thing that I always think about is the image I saw like years ago, and it's these two guys like mining for diamonds. One is on top of each other, like one's on top and one's on bottom, and the guy on top, digging and found like a little diamond. He's like, I found it, and then the
Mm-hmm.
guy on the bottom, he decides to give up, and the illustration literally had he like hacked away like one more time, he would have found a bigger diamond. So it's
Mm.
always in my head of just never give up because you never know how close you really are, and a lot of times success takes years, and we live in an age where we see stuff on the internet, so we think it's overnight or it's instant, and it's not. So that always lives in my mind. Like you just never know when your breakthrough or your success will come. So you just have to keep going because you really could be close.
I love that. That's dope. I do. So tell me one thing before we get out of here. What would your biggest supporter say about you and why?
I would say my biggest support has to be my family. Um, my parents and my siblings, um, especially when it comes to like doing fashion shows and events. My mom always wants to come, and
What would
support.
they say about you though?
And I think they will definitely say that if I have the determination to do it and I have the talent to do it. And they always will say that they admire, how I can create something from nothing or draw inspiration from different things as well.
Love that. And what would your biggest like your enemy, say about you? And is it true?
I think they will say that I don't give up, and I think that is true too. I definitely think that I keep going no matter what, and even if I don't see it, if I don't see my results right away, I figure out where I did wrong and get back and always pivot to create what I want and create my dream.
Gotcha. Love that. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. If you just want to throw out like your social media, your how to get in
Sure.
contact with you, your website, and maybe any current events you have going on.
Okay. My social media is Lydia Simone official. You can find us on Instagram as well as TikTok. I currently have prom dresses available and custom orders I'm taking right now as well. I also have a collection with Shein, and that's available on my website link in my Instagram. You guys can shop that, and I have any other events and projects. You guys will have to follow me to see what is coming up next.
Love that. Thank you so much for joining us today. And as I always say, stay black. Peace out.